Hi everyone, welcome to Hobby Hangout. Apparently, John's too good enough to be with us today, unfortunately. But we have Ben. Hopefully. I say hopefully because last week we did have Ben, but technically he wasn't there. It was a ghost of Ben. So let's see if he's here for us this week. He is.
I'm gonna hopefully I'm here. Yes.
Welcome, Ben. How are you this week?
I'm good, thank you very much.
And
Although from my end, it looks like everything is going very, very slowly on the stream. We're still on the live student thing for me.
we do have some skip frames that may be because I am also rendering at this point. So we have a huge core space let's play going out today at 5 o'clock, and it's just finished editing. So and it's an 11 turn game, so pretty big, really big. So hopefully, if anyone is looking for a core space let's play, it's out there at 5 o'clock today. But first off, I want to introduce the Spring Cleaning Community Challenge. You guys had organised this over the weekend, Ben. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes, I will do. It still looks like we're having some problems with the live stream though at the moment. I'm seeing that it's basically just still saying the live student screen at the moment for me, which is very weird. Maybe it's just only for me.
Maybe if you can try and refresh, maybe.
Yes. Is it what's that command you do that means that you refresh it completely? Is it
Control F5.
well, I know computers.
I've paused the render in hopes that it might make a difference. Who knows?
I still have the live student screen,
It's very strange.
and I'm just going to tell you that I can hear. Oh no, it's catching up now, almost. It's all still very slow for me.
Okay, I've just been in the chat here if everyone can see the stream. If not, we may have to restart and see if that changes anything. Hopefully it's just an issue on your end, Ben.
Hopefully.
I don't think anyone's uploading.
It is very laggy,
It's very laggy.
visible
Okay.
and static. Can hear us but not see us. It's like going at 1 frame a second. There you go.
What do you say, Kogi?
Picture's lagging, but I can hear you okay.
Is that because I'm in the room? Okay, the picture's very laggy. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. I
1
don't-
frame every 30 seconds.
don't
that
think
says.
I don't think anyone is uploading currently. No. Okay, well, we will link the projects in, and hopefully you guys can follow along with us and just listen to an audio. This is just going to be a podcast episode, I guess. So, Ben, if you can,
It seems to be getting better now. But anyway, yes. So
if you can
spring
listen
cleaning
a
hobby
little
challenge.
bit more about that, yeah, that'd be perfect.
Oh yes. So we announced on the weekend of this week that we were going to be doing the Spring Cleaning Hobby Challenge, Community Challenge, which is all about taking your old projects, be that a miniature, a piece of terrain, an entire army, anything like that, and basically reinvigorating it and bringing it back to life with a new coat of paint, or just sprucing it up using some of those new techniques you've maybe learned over the months or something, and sort of developing it from there. So yeah, we've already had some really interesting ones coming in, but the real sort of key premise of this is that you're going to be able to take one of those old models or armies, etc., and build them into something new. We definitely want to see what it looked like to begin with, because that's the whole point of this. We need to make sure we need to see exactly how it looked to begin with, as terrible as your paint jobs were.
There's no point in doing a Blue Peter on this one.
Exactly. Here's what I made earlier. Yeah, and then we obviously want to see the progression from beginning to end.
Yeah.
There will be, I believe, 4 vouchers given away for £50 to the OnTableTop Pro Store, which is our web store that you can check out. And there will be a best skill, best tutorial, best idea, and best junior otter. I'm going to say now. That's what I'm going to call it. As part of this competition.
We can't get away from it, can we, Ben?
We cannot. Once Jerry started it, we couldn't get away from it.
Yeah.
And so this will be then sort of collated using all the votes that people have put in for different projects, So make sure that when you're looking at these, you are actually ticking them and saying yes or to all the different sort of categories that we have there, because that will be a big part of what happens at the final and who comes out on top, as well as our own personal opinions, as well as the different projects as well. So yeah, very, very cool indeed, and it's already nice to see a lot of people getting stuck into it and getting involved in the projects and stuff. So
yeah, cool. And the prizes are £50 vouchers for the OnTableTop Pro Store. If you click there, you can come across to your Pro Store. You can get, like, the amount of stuff that's on there, it's on discount, is ridiculous anyway. So you're saving so much money even if you don't win, I guess. But have you got any project ideas for this Spring Cleaning Community Challenge, Ben?
well, I was originally thinking of doing something with my old dwarf army, because that's been sitting there for a long time, since the end of 8th edition Warhammer, that I've not really done anything with. And there are a couple of heroes within that set that I'd really like to take out and sort of reinvent and change up to sort of highlight the fact that I've actually got more skills in my paintbrush now. So.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There, we have old ogres of Warhammer Fantasy ogres in the office, and they are, I think they were bought in from eBay or something, but they were dreadfully painted. I guess, they're tabletop standard, but they're dreadfully painted, and there's a couple in there that I really want to paint up as Pudge from Dota 2.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that like a couple of them have double weapons, so some has mace, some have sticks and hooks and stuff. I think they'd work really well for that kind of character, and also just be kind of nice. So I've been kind of like looking at them and seeing about, I don't know, maybe let John show me how to or maybe get John to do it, just strip all the paint off them and then restart. But
Yeah.
my fear is that if I do that, the guys in the office are probably going to turn around and say, yeah, you can probably do the whole army now. So I have that's my fear. But
Just sneakily take just one, just the one you need, and then don't tell anybody else, apart from everybody else on the stream that you've just told. So yeah.
is the voucher valid for non-UK residents? I believe so. We'll need to check. If you comment in the community challenge, that post, the guys will probably reply back and let you know.
If you tag Dignity at Dignity or at Warzan in there, they'll let you know what the shtick is with that.
Yeah,
So,
they are the ones organizing it. We are the messengers.
yes.
But with that introduced, the spring cleaning, a lot of people have been joining in on this already.
That they be.
So if you click through to this link, you can find out like all the projects that have been involved so far. This is turning out to be quite a big undertaking that people are really going for, and it's nice to see that so many people are going for it as well. We'll have a look at this first. This Burrows and Badgerfields, battlefields. So this is by New Bolter, and I believe this is the project that he was creating for Salute, I think. But he is now deciding to move them into Normandy Village Board for Bolt Action to complete a more versatile board for this. So I feel like it fits the spring cleaning theme a bit. He's scratch building everything and turning one project into a new completely revamped project. So yeah, it fits. But Ben, I think you can probably get some ideas from this thing.
Yeah, it's really not. I've still got a whole bunch of Sarissa terrain that I haven't actually built for Burrows and Badgers, which is a bit of an annoyance. But yeah, it's quite good to see how easy it is to actually build Burrows and Badgers terrain.
Yeah,
I'm quite enjoying the idea of him developing stuff that's going to be terrain for use for historical. Actually, that's quite an interesting take on things.
I like how you've probably went out and spent money on the Sarissa stuff, and then looking at this here and we're like, I could have just made it out of toilet roll tubes and cereal boxes.
Yeah.
But as we've seen before with these minis, there's some beautiful little paints here. So he's moving on to Normandy, so it'll be exciting to see how that progress goes along. I love this little like mouse shrew home village house. That's very cool. If we go back, we have the Wolves of Caliban. Now, some of these projects might not be
Full. Yeah.
And we haven't done very much research prior to the show. I was too busy doing the course-based Let's Play, so forgive us if any of them are a little bit short. But we'll go in and see what is happening on here.
This is effectively the kind of thing that we're really hoping for with this one. So he's taking lots of really old Space Marines, as you can see, and he's reinventing them, breaking out all those old models and turning them into something new. And I'm popular on my phone. So and you can see that he's actually going into a little bit of extra detail here because he's building the base adapters and stuff up for these Space Marines to try and bring them in line with the ones that now exist for the Primaris and the sort of regular Marines as well. But we're getting like a real look into somebody's collection here as we see all those like old vehicles that have been haphazardly thrown into a box, sort of brought back to the fore. So it'll be really neat to see what he does with this going forward. And yeah, those old Space Marines, it'd be interesting to see how that works with just like a little bit of a wash at the top and that kind of thing. So very cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like using new painting styles and bring them onto the tabletop, because these look as if they've been sitting there for quite some time. Looks a little bit sad with all these like tanks just shoved in a box. It's maybe a good thing that John's not here this week. He'd probably cry. But yeah, there's quite a bit there that needs to be done. And it'd be nice to see someone move on, because like it looks as if these have just been dry brushed, primed and dry brushed. But
interesting. Amanda says in the comments like she has no clue what she would enter into this. Easiest thing to do is to go back and look at the first thing you painted and decide whether or not you can paint it any better now than when you did when you first started. And if you think you can, go and take that model and upgrade it. That's the easiest thing you can do.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't have to be an army like you see here with the Wolves of Caliban or anything. It can be just one model. If you want to. So.
Yeah, the whole idea of it is to see how much you've improved, and maybe see if you can revamp. And it doesn't have to be a full army. It can be one model. It could be a piece of terrain. It could be a board game. Why not? Next we have Horus 500. These are the Tess Nani Romanus. What would you like, Warren?
I completely forgot you're a hobby hangout team. That's okay.
Okay, goodbye. That's what happens in the office. Actually, Warren, are you there?
I certainly am.
We want to get a bit of clarification on the spring cleaning challenge.
Yes.
Is the £50 voucher in the OnTableTop web store applicable to non-UK?
Yes, because in that case it'll be kind of like a £50 gift. We obviously there's some products that we can't sell internationally. Okay, but if an international a person wins, I will buy it and ship it to you personally so that you so you can have some of that goodness.
Okay.
And it'll come from me. I'll kiss it. I'll stroke it.
I've seen him kiss these boxes as they leave.
Every
terrifying,
single box that ever leaves this facility gets kissed and caressed by me. Because if it's not by me, it's by Just. Except prizes. Prizes get done by Just. I have nothing to do with prizes. Any outstanding prizes is completely Justin's fault.
I like how you say not his responsibility. It's his fault.
It's his fault. Yes. So yeah, are we having a good live stream today?
Yes, so far. It was a little bit choppy at the start, but we're getting to it now.
So you were shit and now you're good and it's your fault.
Yes, that was my fault.
Okay, right. I shall see you later.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of clarification upon the prices for the OnTableTop store. Let me just catch up with some comments. Cool. So, yes, we have these Test Nani Romanus.
I have dropped those into the chat as well. So.
Thank you very much. So these are just some tests of what he's currently working on. These are very interesting bases. These must be quite old. They look like bottle tops.
They do.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's going to be interesting for me because there's going to be all these maybe old models that have come out that I've maybe never seen before, and I'm going down to the bottom of the project to see where we start off here. And like even the bases to me are a little bit curious. So we've got quite a large army here that's going to be working on for Averland.
Yeah, so he's taking an army that was effectively like an oldie sort of world Warhammery force, and developing it and changing it up to sort of fit into one of the up-to-date rule sets, so the Warlords of Erewhon and that kind of thing. So it looks like there's quite a lot of models that potentially never saw the light of day.
So I assume
on the battlefield.
So I assume a lot of rebasing then.
Not necessarily actually, because a lot of these are circular. So I think the only kind of rebasing stuff might be for the Warhammer stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's all on squares. But
that's what I've noticed a few times where we had someone come into the to the Pro Store and ask about should he rebase his army. He wants to get back into it, but he's terrified of going back and rebasing the army to circular bases. And I just said to him, like, I mean, do you want to play on square bases or circular bases? Like, you don't have to. But it's interesting. Like a lot of people are now going back and rebasing. I've seen that quite a few projects.
Yeah.
They're doing that now. But I like these little new test paint schemes. They're pretty cute looking, actually.
It's really cool. It's a really neat way showing off the fact that you can get stuck into an entire army there, but the kind of like if you start off at a small sort of level like this, painting up a couple of different miniatures, you'll get an idea of how you want to carry it over into an entire army as well, which is good.
Yeah, I'd imagine as well with an army you can test out your paint schemes and then write them down and see what you want to achieve. Yeah. But looking good so far.
As Jerry says, squares are better. I mean, squares are cool, but hexes are even better.
Triangle bases, that's what I want to see.
Triangle bases? Then you'd always be in lance formation.
Yeah.
Lance formation. Yeah. Oh dear.
Okay, so next up is from Hazard. So recycling the Wok-Nazir to Saga, Age of... Oh, so this is the is this the Nazir beast from...
Yeah, the one's from Wrath of King.
Yeah. Which is a shame.
Not woke Nazir, it's Wok Nazir.
Yeah, sorry. It's a shame because I actually really like the Wrath of King stuff, and it just didn't seem to take off.
Yeah.
Very much, but like this model, that is cool looking. I really like that. Like this is maybe perfect for like these games of Wrath of Kings and things that maybe didn't take off that Age of Magic and Warlords of Erewhon are coming in.
Very
so
much
people
so,
can
yeah.
just use like these old, like really cool models. Like maybe the games weren't that great, but the models, they were hella cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good excuse. I mean, that's the whole premise of this, really. Is to make sure that it's a good excuse for you to get stuck in and do something with all those old models. I see that this lot seem to look like they're going into the dreaded box of stripping.
Yeah.
To lose all their bits and pieces. I think this would be pretty awesome as a dynamic army to use in something like Age of Magic. You get a really cool force out of this.
Very themed. Like
yeah.
It's very much House of Nazir was very like I don't want to say very 666. It seemed like samurai devils. It seemed.
It's very cool.
But yeah, I'd love to see like these moved into like think of because he's got the trident kind of thing. I know it's not a trident there, but it's it'd be really cool if they're like a water elemental. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this challenge, and I'm looking forward to seeing how people progress through this.
Yeah.
So, awesome stuff. Next we have Spring Cleaning Imperial Guard.
Ooh. Well, we're getting a look at some cool stuff here. Oh wow! So he's taking a lot of the historical stuff and reinventing it to go into an Imperial Guard force, and tinkering around with some tanks and everything, which is cool. So this is interesting. A lot of research gone into this one as well.
So, are these just random bits and pieces that he's collected over the years and adding, or?
I believe, just looking through some of the older entries on this one. So he started off with a handful of miniatures that have been sort of like occasionally painted, sort of had a little bit of work done to them, and then he's upgrading them and changing them to fit into his sort of new style idea of how a Imperial Guard force would work. So he's been taking a little bit of inspiration from what we did with the Praetorians and stuff, taking a lot of those historical models and updating them into something that he can use for sci-fi games, which is cool. So,
awesome.
Cool.
Seems to be a lot of work and thorough research going into this as well.
Yeah.
So, this will be very interesting to see how this turns out.
Exactly. Yeah. As I say, he seems to have done a lot of work on this primary squad, and he's using that historical research to help back up what he's been doing, which is really cool. I'm really liking how the tank's turning out. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Although strapping all those fuel barrels on the side of it is probably the safest thing in the world.
One hit, that it all goes.
It's the rule of video games. If they're painted red, they've got to explode. So. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. This is very nice work here, because there's tons and tons of photos. You could probably spend all day on this, but as you say, like even that tank,
Yeah.
that's impressive enough as it is.
He says in the comments it was something that he'd planned and then completely dropped, so he's going back and reusing it.
That's a shame. I hope
this is a good excuse to do that. Definitely.
Yeah, I hope you don't drop it again. And hopefully, like, we give you inspiration as well to keep going with these things. Because with the spring cleaning, I think, the first step is always the first step. I know it sounds obvious, but a lot of people don't consider it. The first step to doing anything is the first step. So even just starting is on your way to completion.
Words of wisdom there.
Yeah. It's the same thought of like 1990, which is in the opposite end of the spectrum. Is like you're only 90% complete when you're 90%. Or you only ever truly start when you're 90% complete. But we'll avoid that one. The first step is always the first step. Luna Wolves Spring Cleaning Hobby Challenge. So this is by Ghost Dog. What are these? These are some cool looking bases. So let's go down to the very bottom and actually work our way up so we can actually see what's happening here. So is this a 40k army then?
So he's taking a old set of Rogue Trader Spasmarans on bikes, and he's upgrading them with some modern components to use in games of Horus Heresy / Warhammer 40,000. So he's got those new sculpted bases, which is very cool.
Yeah,
and a lot of old bikes with old riders. So yeah, very cool.
This is my to lay some news on you today. Today is the very last day of me being in my 20s. Tomorrow I turn 30 years old. I know it may not look it.
30 years young.
Add another 10 years, I may look it appeared. But yesterday my father was in. He treated me to a lovely lunch. But I thought about like, because my father, he quite enjoys oil painting. He sits at home and does a lot of landscapes throughout Northern Ireland. He's getting very good at it. But I thought like, why did you come in and like maybe we'll get you a mini or something? But and he's really big on his bikes, so I think it'd be kind of cool, like maybe getting him like one of these like Rogue Trader models or something on bikes, and see like maybe that would garner his interest into it, and then
if not on the sci-fi front, there's plenty of historical motorbikes out there you can go and pick up for like Bolt Actions, Warlord, and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Warlord's Bolt Action, sorry, the way around.
Yeah,
so
I'm disappointed, by the way, that there's no happy birthdays in the chat. So we'll have to get some banhammers if there's none in the next 10 minutes.
Wow.
That's what happens on my birthday. It's
I
all
mean,
about me.
even I didn't say it, so.
How dare you, Ben? But yeah, I love these new bases. I think they'll add so much more depth into these. They look a bit bigger as well.
They do, but I think that's cool to sort of give the miniatures a little bit more height as well, which is really good. So.
Definitely. Okay. So next up we have Yanis 1004 Ogres for Age of Magic. Here is what I was talking about. Here's the same ogres. So it's a couple of like these here. God, they look so horrible whenever they're not primed, don't they?
Yes, they do.
They look such a mess. They're great looking models, but like just sitting there looking at them, it's quite a sight. Okay, good job. I see some happy birthdays. No bans today. But I like what he's going in here. He's making his own bases and making them work for Age of Magic as well. I don't know what it is about these. They look so garishingly ugly. I guess that's what they're meant to look like.
Very true. My friend has an entire ogre army, but alas, he's like Justin, and he decides that bases don't need basing material. They just need to be one solid color. So he has all these massive ogres that are painted reasonably well, but they're all on brown bases.
I like this one as well. I think Yanis, I don't know whether he's maybe avoiding taking the blame for this, or maybe he bought them on eBay or something, but apparently someone's just like blobbed a big bit of green stuff on that. I mean, I guess if they did it right and like sculpted it to look like even a chicken leg would have been kind of cool, like a big hunk of meat. Where maybe that was the original idea, like even something skewed in, but it just looks like they've just had a spare bit and they just plunked it on. But
it's a very interesting style of modeling. Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the, like, this here kind of model, it reminds me so much of the video game character Pudge from Dota, and I'd love to, like, we do have a couple of them sitting in the office, but my fear is that if I do paint it, then Warren will turn around and be like, oh, you did a really good job of that, what about the rest of 50?
On the bright side, they've got big, lovely surface areas, so you can do a lot of just work with base coating. So
that's it. And do tattoos and stuff. It'd be really cool. Yeah. And Yanis has some really nice painting techniques as well, so it'll be very interesting to see where these go. I hope to see some like really cool tattoos and just decent paint jobs. Because every time I've seen the ogres, the only ones I've seen are the ones in the office, and they're horrible. They're so bad looking. It's like someone who's just like painted on with that 3-inch brush and then dipped it and then just threw it in the corner of the room, like actually threw it. But yeah, interesting stuff. Spring cleaning a stomper. Bought them on eBay's, got it off now, but he won't show me what it's like underneath. Brown base is one step forward towards Justin's bases. I really like this argument because like I'm under this predicament now because I've been painting a lot of the Walking Dead stuff, and I don't actually want to base them because they're always on roads and stuff. But what I've been doing is I have actually been painting them by painting a texture, like a marble kind of effect on them,
right? Yeah.
So that they're not completely, avoided just completely, because I thought about doing ones that were like, different colored bases for different colored characters, and then I could kind of code them.
Yeah.
Because I could paint a dot or something on the cards, so it'd be easy to tell them apart. Because I am useless at telling them apart whenever I'm playing the games. Yeah, I mostly rely on my friend Michael to tell me who's who. Pretty much the only person I can tell at this stage is yeah, probably Carl.
Rick?
Yeah, I can tell Rick and Carl, but I'm thinking of the big burly guy, like the army dude, with the ginger hair. Abraham, there we go.
Grant Mitchell.
Yeah. Next up, have Carlos Pictor, spring cleaning a Stompa. Now this is, I don't know what this is, to be perfectly honest, because if I move down, it didn't look like a Stompa to begin with. It looked like he has scratch built this once before. So
yeah, it looks like it was originally a make your own Stomper, and then I believe it's a she anyway, but has then taken the model and is updating it with some extra bits and pieces found off eBay. So yeah, going to finish building, painting, and basing the Mr. Potato Head Stomper I started over a decade ago. He's been in a box for 10 years, so it's time to get the bad boy built. Wow.
Dave, yeah, maybe I will use glitter. But it looks like this is like a perfect 80s 90s toy.
It does, yeah.
And it looks like one of those kind of like wind up things that maybe they like walk on their own. It looks like one of those monkeys that like smack the cymbals, yeah.
Also, Jerry, if you start spoiling things in the weekend of recording, I'm just going to. I will take off my headphones and leave.
What's this? Oh,
for Endgame.
Endgame.
I'm seeing it on Friday. So.
Yeah, I'm going to see it on Thursday. That's another thing. If anyone wants to make spoilers or something, put it in the forums and have a big spoiler alert thing.
Yes.
We'll maybe make one for people, because you wouldn't want it spoiled for yourself.
And I know that Jerry wouldn't really spoil it for me because he's a nice man. So yeah, I say that.
Yeah, Nuala and I thought about going to the midnight showing, but then we thought like it's 3 hours long, and we have to work the next day, and Nuala has to travel to Belfast the next day, so it's like no way.
I'm going to go. I'm seeing it. I'm going to go and watch Infinity War on Thursday night around a friend's house, and then the day after I've booked Friday off. Yeah. So I'm gonna go and see it, and then I'm gonna go and enjoy it with very little people around, hopefully. So that'll be good.
It is a Mr. Potato Head, as someone has pointed out. Yeah. But the legs don't look like Mr. Potato Head.
They've been cannibalized from something else, though.
Yeah. I love these little rivets, because
quite literally rivet counting.
Yeah, because so far, like, I've seen. This is quite a smart way of doing it as well for the scales, especially with these beads, because Mr. Menez, he always makes rivets out of just little pieces of pipe tubing. But I think these work quite well, the beads.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool, yeah. It's a very nice take on the idea of scratch building something. So.
I love the hat as well. Like it's clearly a yogurt pot, I think.
I think is it Shiba? Is it like cat food? Yeah.
It might be cat food. I can't think for the life of me though why the text is upside down on it.
Because it's budget Shiba.
Yeah, perhaps. We have all these little bits and pieces. I think Mantic pipe bits. Oh, that must be from one of their train kits, actually. Yeah, this seems to be like such an epic looking project, and considering it's been sitting in the house for 10, 15 years or something, it's truly a proper sprinkling. Looking forward to seeing the results in that. And it just shows as well as a good inspiration for people who want to sculpt things out of anything. Awesome. Next we have Doug the Fug working on some Fire Slayers for Shade Spire.
Showing me the right colour to paint that.
We have another project soon to see as well with Fire Slayers, but these turn out really nice. I always wonder, like, do they always go into battle just completely naked with just a couple of sheets? I suppose they have no time for fashion, do they?
No, I mean, well, back in the Warhammer Fantasy days, they were the equivalent of slayers, so they basically were trying to find a way to die against the greatest enemy. So, so they didn't wear armor because it would defeat the point of them charging into battle. But the Fire Slayers have basically continued the tradition based on their god Grimnir, but then they hammer gold into their flesh, which is what those little like golden runes are on their bodies, which give them power and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Does it really give them power?
No, it's all just it was a cheap marketing ploy by the gold repository.
By the gold trade.
Yeah. Yeah, take this and hammer it into your skin. Will it hurt? No.
Yeah, really nice work there as well. I thought they were scars. Like, I thought they were just like scars that they cut into themselves. But shows how much I know about the lore about the Fire Slayers. I battled one once, Ben, during Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and they didn't tell me very much about it other than he had a big mohawk and he was very angry.
That kind of sums him up, though, to be honest.
Yeah. I think we diffused the situation and moved on.
Just involved beer.
Yeah, not really sure how we diffused the situation, but yeah, we moved on. So, yeah, another awesome project by Doug the Fug. We should see that finish up pretty soon, I would imagine.
Yeah,
judging
Doug the Fug's a crazy painter.
Yeah.
So.
Now we have a box of Forgotten Projects by Necrothral. Let's skip down to the very bottom here and we'll see. Sorry, I've got something in my throat. I don't know what'll happen if I die. That's what happens. First out of the box, some Lord of the Rings, some Warhammer pieces.
Ooh, some very classic sculpts there.
And a table, a little table.
Everybody loves furniture. So.
And we got some Skaven. I gotta say, after painting up the Skaven from Shadespire, I really enjoyed painting them. And because they're so wacky and hyped up on Coca-Cola, they seem like such a fun force to play.
Yeah, I always think that Skaven are a little bit like orcs in the regard that they are like, because they're the way for you to be the most inventive when it comes to like bits bashing and painting and all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
because they're just wacky.
It's a bit forgivable.
Yes, you can be like weird and over the top with the painting and all kinds of things like that as well. So, yeah.
I really like this color scheme that they're going for these ghostly characters.
Mm-hmm. I think they're the old Barrow race. Yeah, they're the Barrow Whites from Lord of the Rings. When the scene that wasn't shown in the movies, where Frodo and Sam go into the barrows, or are drawn into the barrows anyway. That's where they get their barrow blades from.
I see. I didn't know that at all. So
it's actually quite cool actually, because Games Workshop actually bought a lot of stuff through from the kind of extended universe, I suppose you'd say, of Middle Earth, like that wasn't actually shown in the films. Like they recently put out a miniature for the made to order line that was Serdan, who was the elven shipwright that no one would really know about because he's only shown in the film for like a split second.
Alright.
But he's like the master ship builder for the elves of Rivendell, and so.
Cool. Next we have Dark Danigan, and this is quite an interesting piece because he's shown us his workstation here. And
That is a lot of stuff.
I think he's actually asking the community here.
What should he do?
Yeah, what should he do? So if we have a look here, we'll go full screen for this one. So he's asking which of these pieces he should work on. So we have here, if I click on the screen, we should be able to see my mouse. Some Horus Heresy, Necron Army, Space Hulk, Random Metal GW. Wonder what game that's from. Random Metal sounds pretty awesome. Chaos Renegades, some Core Space down here, which honestly I think maybe you should start with Core Space, considering it's already out on your table, so why not? That's a good start, I think. First step is always first step. All kinds of bits under the table. Foreground post-apocalyptic stuff. So I would even say if you did your Core Space, you could probably use the post-apocalyptic foreground stuff as well.
Very true.
So why not? God, I hate the saying now. Kill two birds with one stone because I own birds. Feed two birds with one seed. Got some Kill Team, Kingdom Death. I'd say probably avoid Kingdom Death until you have like a proper weekend, or like I feel like Kingdom Death is like a good Christmas project where you're off on long holidays. Dark Souls.
If you're really gonna try and crack out an oldie, try and get it onto the tabletop, it'd be very interesting to see what those Space Crusade miniatures look like inside that box, if they've actually got any paint on them. Because if they have, and you want to revamp them, that could be kind of cool.
Yeah, considering the topic is spring cleaning, the whole connotation of it is like, get old models. But if you want a project started, I would say like you want to go with a Core Space because it's already out. But as Ben says, the Space Crusade will be really interesting to see, considering how old the box is now.
I was just gonna say the interesting thing as well is like while it says it's like spring cleaning, trying to like take an old model, it's also like a lot of us probably have bought games that are just sitting there and we've not done anything with them. Like I still have I don't know how many Mythic Battles Pantheon models and stuff just sitting in a box somewhere, and I'm fairly sure they would like to hit the table at some point. So as long as you show them at the beginning still covered in dust, that'd be the best way forward.
Yeah. I also love as well, if we go back to full browser here, we have turtles up in the top right here. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a board game, or if it's just generally just turtles. Otherwise, that's my vote. If you
simply because of the turtles,
just because of how vague that category is, I would love to see turtles. But yeah, guys, if you can like help out, go in and comment and say like what you would like him to work on. That'd probably help him out a little bit or a lot. I'm losing my words now. So next we have 2 mistakes left. Taking a stock at Castle Truitz, so I assume this is Truitz the user. Yeah, it is. So what's he working on here? So there's some chaos. So I think maybe is he working towards some Age of Magic stuff? Because I think that's what this plan maybe is. But
I think inspired by Lloyd and Jerry, he's definitely trying to take these models and turn them into.
Holy crap, Lloyd! We got a buttload of skellies over here. Yeah. Lloyd's been going through the office looking for random pieces of skellies here. Holy crap! Look at that one. Very impressive. This is quite the collection there of skeletons. Even got a skeleton mammoth. 2 skeleton mammoths. Very
Hopefully
cool.
I should be back now and you should be hearing me again.
Yeah, I can hear you, Ben. You did cut out a little bit there.
Yeah, but it looks like a mix of undead and chaos that he's thinking about changing to bring into Saga. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that dragon. That's really cool.
I love this frost giant in the back.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Oh,
That's a dinosaur.
Where's the dinosaur?
Like, bottom, the armies of parade skeletons. It's one of the one where you can see the Chaos Beastman and stuff like that, and there's the spirits. It's like
Oh,
the
hold
bottom
on.
left photo.
He's got a Rune Wars army as well. I know it's here on the right
It's the
hand
one
side.
from the one from the hobby boot camp we did. Yeah.
I think Truitt was at the hobby boot camp as well.
Twas, yes.
Too sure. Can I see coming over?
Oh my god!
Lloyd's on
All
delay.
skellies.
Hmm?
Is that all skellies?
This is all skellies. So you've got the Rune Wars stuff from over here. I think you've got a whole pile of like fantasy battle stuff. I had no idea what this is from, but that looks cool. We get a close up of that.
Is that a Reaper Bones dragon? Is it?
Maybe. Not too sure. Some really cool mammoths there.
Is he gonna be the
These are from Mantic, aren't they?
those ghouls? Or yes, Mantic
the
ghouls.
the mammoths are
Got
from
the stuff
Grenadier.
from Rune Wars done in a ghosty sort of look, which is what I'm going to be doing on my. Well, I'm thinking about doing it to my Lord of the Rings undead guys. That's what they're supposed to be done like, but I can't really make up my mind as well. I'll just go full ghost, or whether I'll actually try and paint their armor a wee bit, so it looks like armor has been taken over by ghosts.
Why don't you paint the armor first and then like tint it?
Then what?
Tint it in your.
You know the way you get a ghost, right?
Yeah, ghostly.
Where they paint the whole thing green or something, or
Yeah,
greens or
but
blues. I'm
if you
thinking.
paint the armor first,
Yeah.
and then just tint it over in that greenish or bluish hue.
Yeah, that's not really my. Well, yeah. What I'm thinking though is if I paint the armor to look like rusted metal and stuff, but paint the faces and hands and stuff in that glowing green, it looks like the armor's been. What is
Slotted in.
it? No, not slotted.
Yeah.
In. What is it when you're possessed?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then maybe
I like
yes,
that.
I can put like a little sheen on the armor, just
Yeah.
to give it a little greeny look or something.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
That's what I'm thinking. Something like that.
So that they don't actually exist. They're just like possessed. They are actual ghosts.
Yeah, to complement the
Yeah.
skellies. So the
Yeah.
skellies are still physical armor walking around with skelly bony people in it.
Mhm.
And my Hearthguard end up being the undead from the Lord of the Rings Paladin box. Or you can buy them separately, but I've got quite a few of them out of the box.
Mhm.
So I'll use those as Hearthguard. But to tie it in with the skeletons, rather than just turning completely green, I thought if I do that rusty thing, it'll kind of complement the two sides of the army.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
my thinking.
Yeah. Awesome work there from
The amount of
Truitt.
stuff, that's
I'm-
amazing.
Yeah, so he's just. I don't think he's planning on painting them. I think he's just organizing at the minute, only because I know that he has a forum topic talking about just organizing the minis. But it might be nice to see. We'll see in the next couple of weeks coming up. And then lastly, spring cleaning with fire. I have no idea what this project is. I hope they're not just burning models, but this is by Fohammer. Let's go down to the very end. We'll scroll back up. So these are the Fire Slayers and Magma Fiends. Where are the Magma Fiends from?
They are from Shadows of Brimstone.
Ah.
So he's taking them to create a Chaos Dwarfy style army for Erewhon and Saga, because that is the flavour of the month right now. And will be forevermore should Lloyd and Jerry have their way. So,
Oh wow, so he's actually completely changed their skin tone here?
yeah.
That's
Curse
interesting.
is, he's
And
really
even-
good at painting these.
So, like, with the skin tone and the golds coming out, the gold is kind of hidden, but with these ones, like, that really pops out. A lot of contrast in that. And Fohammer manages to create very punchy colors, I think.
It does. Yeah.
He's very good at shading and very like spot highlighting. Yeah, so that's that all from the spring cleaning challenge
So far, yes.
so far. Are you okay there, Ben? Have you just have you jumped into another era?
Quite, yeah.
But we'll.
It's 10 to 1, which is my refinement 10 minutes.
I see. Okay. And with that, I think we'll end up. Ben, you've been working on some Burrows and Badger stuff, so I kind of want to have a wee look at that and see how you've been getting on. So we have your Otter Mage.
Yeah.
How have you been finding that?
It was really good fun painting this one, actually. Because I have the good fortune of having my painting table right next to my PC, when I'm waiting for something to upload or etc., I can sort of get stuck into doing like a little bit of this, a little bit of this. So I managed to sit down over sort of like lunchtime yesterday and paint that lovely lady up, who I thought was really good fun painting her. So I'd never really done the idea of like layered fur before, but I went with like darker brown up to like a lighter brown, and then worked in the creams as well there as well for the underneath of the otter. And then I thought the blues and the greens worked really well for her cloak as well.
Blue and orange are contrasting colours, like complementary colours, so they work actually very nicely.
Yeah, I want to do a little bit more work on the fireball that she's conjuring. I would like, because that was Jacaro, then washed with, I want to say, look at it, washed with Fugan Orange, and then, as I go away from my mic, and then another highlight of Fire Slayer over the top of it. But I want to add in some, like, maybe some yellows and some red to that as well, just to make it look a little bit more dynamic. But yeah, I really enjoyed painting that model. I think I'm going to work on, I've got the Badger Mage that's undercoated, I've got my Mouse Nun, and the Fox Mage as well that I'm going to work on, I think.
I really like your pirate as well.
Yes, I really enjoyed the pirate. He was one of my favourite miniatures to paint. Really good fun. I like the idea that I loved the open shirted nature of him. I thought it was very cool. It's a shame that he's
love that he's got
sorry, go.
I love that he's got pecs and abs as
yes. He's a beefy otter.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was really good fun. That was I think that was just after I'd done a little bit of the highlighting around the clothing, but I hadn't finished it off on the cloak at the back. But I've updated him since then, and he looks a little bit more tidy and less grubby, which is
cool.
Good, so.
We've seen your Kingfisher before, but I just want to scroll past and admire it as well. Okay, so
I was going to say, I did actually take some of the people's feedback on the Kingfisher, and I went back and put like a black wash over the white feathers, and then brought them back up again with a dry brush over the top, and it worked a lot better. There was a lot more definition in the model, which is good. So.
Cool. And while you were talking about that, I got to log into the website, and we'll take a look at the community spotlight.
Seamless.
You think we were professionals at this? Okay, so this week we had quite a big pick of community spotlight. A lot of even stuff. I think we were looking through the "What Are You Painting Now" thread this week mostly, and there was some amazing stuff coming out of it. So first up, we have miniature brushwork with the werewolf pack. These are very impressive because they don't seem like very difficult color schemes, but if you look like wolves in nature, I guess they're very appropriate, and all the shading in this is perfectly done. Really, really nice work.
Yeah, I really like these because as someone who had always wanted to pick up those Atlantis miniatures models and paint them to match the role players I was playing with and their werewolves, I really like the idea that he was taking.
You okay there, Ben? Do you want to
for his
what he was taking?
Yeah. For his In Her Majesty's Name crew, and doing them up to fit the characters from there. I really liked the second one that was done as more of like a. I think I looked it up and it was more like a Russian wolf. And I thought that scheme was really awesome.
Pretty much a Howl at the Moon kind of thing going on here.
And the Arctic wolf was cool. I'm not so sure about the sculpt for that one. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. He looks a bit derpy with his paws. But yeah, it looks very cool.
Yeah. I think these would fit in very nicely with the Wild West Exodus stuff, like the Warrior Nation, I'd say. But next we have Inns, I think, with some cool Guild Ball players. This is I I don't know what guild this is from.
I cannot remember. I'm going to say something like rat catchers because there's rats involved and there's
Yeah.
sewers and all that kind of thing. But I think they might be from a selection of different ones because I believe there are some from like the morticians as well in there as well. But yeah, some really cool models. Loved the sort of over the top paint scheme used for that and the contrast in the colours that have been used. Really going for that over the top nature that you get from Guild Ball as a whole in the artwork and stuff. I particularly like the second character we see there, the female character. The way those robes have been done is really nice. Adds a lot of depth to it. I love the makeup around the eyes, and then the cool like bird raven thing they've got going on there too.
I really like the cloth work, the ribbons.
Yes,
It's really nice shading on that.
It's very cool.
And then we have a final picture. A nice, cool looking guy here.
The basing's really good for those as well because it sort of puts moves the Guild Ball from like the typical field base that you might have seen into more of a city.
Yeah, it almost looks like there is a bit of like sewage liquid running down that street as well.
Which is really cool.
Okay, and lastly we have Chaos Gorka with a very similar model we saw last week, but a very, very different paint scheme.
So yeah, this is Chaos Gorka's take on Abaddon or Abaddon or Abby the Despoiler. Taking the model and as you say, doing it in a different style. Again, I love the fact that there's been real focus on the key points of the model. So the facial detail, that sort of like I'm going to say groin plate, waist plate maybe. I think that's come across really nicely. The sword as
There's
well.
There's a nice glow in that, yeah.
And a really fantastic take on the idea of Abaddon, done in a slightly different way that is still very like comic booky, but with a lot more muted tones across the golds and stuff. So
He's very much made it his own. I really like, as you say, there's not so much attention to going into the armor stuff, but where it really counts, like the face and the knee plate and the belly plate as well, and the claw and the sword, they really outshine everything and really bring the focal point to those pieces that really matter. And really nice dusting as well on the Space Marine.
Yeah, it's really cool seeing Chaos Gorka showing off just the kind of stuff that he can do. Really, like because we saw him last week when we were looking through some of the projects, and forum threads he was painting those really nice bright poppy comic book style animals, and then he takes that approach and applies different techniques and stuff to Abaddon here, and still looks very cool. So.
Okay, well that leaves us this week. Feel free as well. There's that linkable click link at the bottom of the community spotlights. You can always check out previous spotlights. There are tons to go through, so if you want some inspiration, feel free to go back and check out what people have been working on. But other than that, that's it for us on Hobby Hangout. I think